Welcome to Advocate with Dr. Rufus Lowe, where we aspire each and every day to eradicate the silence of good people who allow bad things to happen. And in doing so, we can together provide a new and glorious path forward for all. Our conversation will be based on the teachings of my latest book entitled Shadow Tolerance, Your Guide to Accepting Racial Difference. Shall we begin? In recent years, the word fascism has re-entered mainstream American discourse, most notably in connection with President Donald Trump. Supporters like the narrator in Through My Eyes passionately defend him as a patriotic leader who speaks for the forgotten American, while critics argue his behavior exhibits authoritarian tendencies that endanger democratic norms. At the heart of this debate lies a critical question, and that is, what defines fascism, and does Trump's leadership embody those qualities? By comparing classical fascism with Trump's political style and democratic values, it becomes clear that while Donald Trump may not be a fascist in the strict historical sense, his rhetoric and actions reveal dangerous authoritarian tendencies that are fundamentally at odds with democracy. Well, fascism, what is it? Fascism is a political ideology defined not just by dictatorship, but by a set of behaviors and beliefs that erode democratic institutions. Historically, fascism, as seen in Mussolini's Italy and Hitler's Germany, all involve ultra-nationalism, the suppression of dissent, vilification of minorities, contempt for electoral outcomes, and the glorification of a singular leader. Crucially, fascist movements do not always seize power through military coups or revolutions. Many rise within democratic systems, only to dismantle them from the inside. This makes the early detection of fascism or fascist tendencies imperative in a functioning democracy. Supporters like the fictional narrator from Through My Eyes often interpret Trump's behavior as populist rather than authoritarian. They view his disregard for political decorum, attacks on the press, and anti-establishment rhetoric as signs of an outsider willing to challenge corruption and bureaucracy. For many, particularly those economically disillusioned, Trump's message resonates. He gives voice to frustrations with globalization, political elites, and cultural shifts that have left rural and working class communities behind. From this perspective, accusations of fascism seem like partisan exaggerations or elitist attempts to silence dissent. However, this interpretation overlooks key warning signs that go beyond policy disagreements. Trump's consistent attacks on democratic institutions, courts, election officials, the media, align closely with early stage authoritarianism. His refusal to accept the results of the 2020 election and his incitement of the January 6th insurrection are not mere political stunts. They are direct challenges to the peaceful transfer of power, a cornerstone of democratic governance. While he may not have succeeded in overturning the election, the intent and consequences of his actions reflect a leader unwilling to abide by democratic rules. Moreover, Trump's use of scapegoating and inflammatory nationalism mirrors tactics used by fascist regimes. From this, his call for a Muslim ban to demonizing immigrants as criminals and rapists, to suggesting certain congresswomen go back to their countries. Trump consistently cast minority groups as threats to American identity. This narrative of national decline blamed on internal enemies is a is a hallmark of fascist ideology. It's designed to consolidate support through fear and resentment rather than policy or principle. Democracy, in contrast, depends on norms, accountability, and the separation of powers. It is not just the act of voting, but the willingness of all parties, especially those in power, to accept limits on authority, respect outcomes they may not even like, and protect the rights of minorities. When leaders behave as though rules do not apply to them, and when their followers cheer that behavior as strength rather than question its implications, the democratic fabric begins to fray. That is the critical tension at play. While many Trump supporters see him as a bulwark against a corrupt system, his disdain for democratic norms positions him closer to authoritarian populists than to traditional democratic leaders. It's entirely possible to support some of Trump's policies on trade, immigration, or foreign policy while acknowledging the dangerous methods he uses to promote them. The real threat is not that Trump alone will destroy democracy, but that his tactics will become normalized, paving way to more disciplined and ideologically committed authoritarians in the future. So let me just say this in conclusion. The debate over whether Donald Trump is a fascist should not distract from the more urgent concern. His behavior undermines the principles of liberal democracy. While his supporters may view him as a flawed but passionate patriot, the authoritarian tendencies he exhibits, contempt for checks and balances, delegitimization of opponents, and refusal to concede power are deeply, deeply troubling. Democracy is not self-sustaining. It must be defended, especially when its most powerful participants begin to ignore its constraints. Recognizing the signs of fascism, even in their early or partial forms, is not alarmism, it is responsibility.